Hi everyone and welcome for this tutorial how to paint a Spindle Drone from Blackstone Fortress. Thanks to all my boss who support me for 1 year or more, and everyone else for sure. And let's go for the paint. So I start with base coat in black as usual, and I primed with my airbrush some white directly on the miniatures just to push my highlights, and you are going to see that I'm going to focus on the front of the miniatures because I'm going to use two kinds of different gray on the miniatures. So after that, I use some Space Wolf Gray contrast dilute with some medium for the up parts, and with the low part I'm going to use Basilican Gray, or you can use some black Black Templar contrast, but mix them with a little bit of medium. After that, I use the side of my brush and the end of my brush to highlight every edges and some points of highlight. This part is the most long part because I make it in different layer. Every time you are going to use these kind of techniques, you are going to see that the color, when it will be totally dry, will be more less intense. So you need to have different layer and repeat the same process to have a very, very strong highlight with your white. Don't worry about the intensity for the moment, and step by step you are going to see that the intensity will be more and more important. As you can see, I don't have a lot of paint on my brush, so take care about that. If you want a good control of your paint, don't have too much paint on your brush. As you can see, I think 30% of my brush have paint on the end and no more. That's not necessary. So if you have any problem of control, that's probably because you have too much paint on your brush, or not necessarily sufficiently diluted. If you have to come back to the water too much time, you don't have sufficient water on the base of your brush, so just check in water and come back, take some paint. And when you paint, you need to have some consistency like milk to be able to push your color on the edges and on the different surfaces. So don't hesitate to take care about this small few points to be sure you are going in the good direction. The most important thing is to experience all these small things. So just try again, and even if your first one will be not perfect, just finish it and make one more minis. So I continue on the legs of the beast. So for this leg, I try to make something more dark, just to make a clear distinction between the head and the legs. For that, I'm going to use the same methods, but after pushing my white, I'm going to come back a little bit with some black. So you see the bottom, just because there are some very strange but simple things. So it's very simple to highlight, but I show you just to be sure you have the good direction. And now I come back with some black to push more difference between my head and the legs. And now I make a wash with a little bit red contrasts, very diluted with medium, but you can make it with classical color, just some red, to create a distinction between, again, the head, where a little bit on the blue tone, and the legs. After that, I come back with some purple skirmish contrasts on the lens, just to have also slightly small effect. But as you know, there are already some OSL tutorial on the channel. Don't hesitate to take a look. If you want, I try a lot of things with contrasts, and this time I think it will be better if I directly make it with classical paint. And as you can see, I come back with some classical paint. This is directly the Warlock purple from Army Painter to have a better effects, a better intensity into my highlights, and I come back with a little bit point of white. You always can mix a little bit white and Warlock just to have better transition. And I come back with some dark color just to push a little bit more contrasts all around the lens, just to focus, to be sure the eyes is going to focus on the lens. So here is the result. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't hesitate to ask if you have any question in the comments, and see you tomorrow for the next advanced calendar tutorial. See you guys.